Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. Yeah, videos today from Shusha Zed.
This single mom cries real tears the moment that she realizes that it was probably cheaper to stay married and not divorce her husband, and she's struggling to pay her divorce lawyer.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
No more wasting time.
Yeah, that's the thing about divorce. It's a costly thing. As much as marriage and weddings cost, divorce is just as much almost. Or even more.
I'm sad because my divorce lawyer requested another $4K, and like I think in the past year and a half I spent like $25,000.
Damn.
And it's not easy. Like my ex keeps like prolonging this divorce because he wants my dad to sell his house so he can get money from it. Like the whole custody plan and everything is like all set and done, and it just sucks because I'm like a single mom and I work my ass off.
All right, so before we get into the tears, I want to talk about what she said right there. She said, listen, the custody plan, right, when it comes to what we're going to do with the kids. By the way, for those of you that wonder, can a prenuptial agreement protect you from child support? You can't do anything with kids when it comes to prenups. But that's not what they're arguing about over here. She's arguing about assets with the man who she decided to divorce. And she says he wants my dad to sell his house because he needs that. He needs a piece of that. This is definitely a situation where a prenup would have made expectations of what's going to happen in case this marriage does not work out, and would have changed the situation from this is hell and I've been going through it for a year plus to wow, this was very difficult. Boy, am I glad we got that prenup. And of course, guys, this is not legal advice. I'm not an attorney. If you need legal information, head over to fathershaverights.com.
And I don't like, it's not like that guy gives me child support. It's not like he even offers to buy a diaper box or a box of milk for my son, even though that's his son too. He only messages us on the days that he gets to have use, which is like once every Sunday, every other week. Other than that, it goes like no contact, no how is our son, nothing. It's like me raising our kid by myself and to like work my ass off.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, to me, is like you've probably fought for full custody or maximum custody because you thought you could get child support. You should have just did 50-50 where he would have probably been more involved. This is the thing where I think women get greedy. They get greedy and they want child support and they want full custody, and then they're going to go through the court system to get that. Men are going to feel a way about it.
And like pay another $4,000 just to like have this divorce somewhat be finished. It's so hard. Not only is divorce emotionally draining, it's also financially draining.
Oh, really?
We didn't know.
And I feel like I wish like the court system like had a thing for people who was like bullshitting around and would just go straight to the point, because
it's funny they say things like this but as soon as if the courts did say, oh, you're fooling around, you're messing around, and you're some BS, I wonder who's gonna get most of those consequences. Women.
This is like trying to do his best to prolong this and juice this.
Welcome to what it's like being a man in the family court system from someone who does believe that the laws need to be changed. And I believe the only way these laws will ever be changed is if we get more videos like this. Unfortunately, people only care and feel sad when a woman is going through this. If a man's over here crying and be like, oh, divorce, people are like, haha, and swipe up. But people look at this and they're kind of like, oh, this is kind of sad. Maybe we should change the laws. Maybe.
Even though he gets like literally nothing out of it. Divorce sucks. This is the reality. And now I have to suck it up and go downstairs with a smile and act like I'm not sad. Wish me luck.
All right. Check out the rest of his comments. Top commenter says it's worth every dime. This female commenter here says, And somebody else responded back and says, I know, I just have to be patient. Somebody else here says, no, you have to be logical.
The question that I'm always getting asked as a Texas family law attorney is how much is my divorce going to cost me? Now, a lot of family law attorneys, including myself, charge per hour. So how much a divorce is going to cost you is going to be contingent on the fact of how many hours I have to put into your case. For example, I just got out of court to finalize what we call an uncontested divorce, meaning that nothing was fought out in this divorce. The decree to their divorce was signed by both the parties and they were in agreement of everything. They had already resolved how the property was going to be divided. Other couples, if they have kids, they'll figure out what the custody schedule is going to look like, child support agreements, etc., etc. So in that case, because they don't need attorneys negotiating what they want for them and they're able to resolve the issues on their own, the divorce was so affordable. And that's going to be the difference maker between a $3,000 divorce and a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $50,000 divorce.
So how much did my divorce cost me? Well, this is a fantastic question. There's direct and there's indirect costs. Direct costs, I lost $106,000 out of my 401k retirement plan I spent 20 years contributing to. I also lost half the equity in the home, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cash, and savings that I also spent 20 years contributing to. I also lost half of all the non-liquid assets like furniture, household goods, electronics, cars. Keep in mind, I paid for all of these. And this is in addition to financially supporting her and her/our daughter for 17 years, which is many hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm now broke, live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and have a negative net worth for the first time since I was, 25. Indirect costs, my job, my sobriety, my self-worth, my masculinity, my hope for the future, my ability to trust women again.
It's okay, brother. You can weather the storm. The storm is going to pass. It's going to pass.
My belief in God, my pride, my motivation, my physical health. I don't know, let's just say everything.
Here's another person who says he doesn't have claim on your dad's house. Just show proof you paid the rent. He's trying to break you completely. Here's somebody else who says, wait, he wants half of your dad's house. And the creator, this is the actual chick giving us a little bit more information. She says, yes, girl, during COVID, we couldn't afford rent. So my dad bought a small house and let us live there. The mortgage was $1,800 and I would pay like $1,000 and my dad would buy groceries for us. And I was the only one working and pay for my ex's stuff. So I guess she meant there I was paying for my ex's stuff and I was the only one with the job. I couldn't do it all by myself and he never wanted me to go out and work. So I was so limited. When I had my baby, he let all my hard work crash and close down. He thinks he is entitled to my dad's house. Okay, so on the surface, a lot of this sounds terrible, but the reality is a lot of people lost their jobs during COVID. A lot of businesses shut down during COVID, and a lot of relationships were tested during that time. And I could imagine if she was maybe an essential worker or maybe works in the medical field, she was able to keep her job. The question I have here is, why does he feel entitled to her dad's house? Well, there could be one of two things. Number one, he put the house in her name. And again, they do not have a prenup, most likely. Otherwise, they wouldn't be arguing about this long. And if you put the house in her name, that house immediately becomes community property. Unless if you draft a prenuptial agreement that details it like, hey, if it's in my name, it's like one of the simplest ways people approach dividing assets. If it's in my name, the car, the house, it's mine. If it's in your name, it's yours, and you guys can decide, is this going to be both ours straight down the middle, or is this going to be yours or mine only? You can even have gifts that are given, and that if that person's name is on that car and you switch it to their name, it 100% belongs to them. It makes things a lot easier. And so it could be that situation, or it could be in both the dad's name and hers. And even if she only owns a small percentage of that, what I've understood from expert attorneys talking to me, then he would be entitled to that in most states, or at least half of that.
That makes sense.
Community property.
Again, it works the other way. Of course, it's going to work this way.
How many billions of dollars did 4 billionaires lose in their divorces? These are the top 4 most expensive divorces ever. Are you smarter than me? Can you guess who number 1 is? I guessed wrong. But number 4, Rupert Murdoch. When this billionaire responsible for Fox News divorced his second wife in 1999, she reportedly received $1.7 billion.
Jeez.
That's a lot, but trust me, the numbers get way higher from here. Number 3, Alec Wildenstein. This heir to a multi-billion-dollar art dealing business divorced Jocelyn Wildenstein in 1999. She reportedly received $2.5 $2.5 billion, with some rumors saying as high as $3.8 billion. But somehow even that much money wasn't enough for Jocelyn. In 2018, she filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
$2.5 billion and she went bankrupt? What? That's just crazy.
But now we get to the bigly ones. Number 2, Bill Gates. No exact details of Bill and Melinda's 2021 divorce have been made public, but Forbes estimates Melinda received $25 billion in the divorce settlement. Some estimates are much higher and some are much lower, but I think we can safely assume that Bill and Melinda's divorce was at least number 2 on this list. And Bill might be on another list, but finally, number 1, did you guess right? Oh, by the way, I'm Listman Guy. My birthday's in a few days. If you want to follow me or say hi, or even you just watching this really makes my day, so thank you. But number 1, Jeff Bezos. In Jeff and Mackenzie's divorce settlement, she retained 25% of their Amazon company stock. According to CNN, when their divorce was finalized in July 2019, the value of her stock was right around $38 billion.
What's the most expensive divorce you've ever seen or been involved in?
I got paid $3 million from one of my clients over the course of 4 years. That's the most expensive one I've ever personally been involved in. The other side, in that case, paid $5 million across 4 law firms, kept picking them off one at a time. And every time she would get a negative outcome, she would fire her lawyers and hire new ones. I was on it from the beginning all the way to the end. She spent $5 million. My client spent $3 million, plus another $1 million or so each in expert fees. It was, by the time it was all said and done, about a $12 million divorce.
Somebody responded back to her comment and says, dang, so if it's your dad's house, how can he have any claim to it? His name isn't attached to the deed, right? God bless you. You will get through this. She says, I don't know. He's trying to file motions to make my dad sell his house because he paid the rent, which he really didn't. I did. And these motions are delaying the final divorce. He didn't even try for custody. He just wants money. Okay, so maybe this may be a different situation. Could it be that there's a chance that he has money and he's just like, F it, I'm going to make this court case carry out for as long as possible. I know you can't afford this. And he's just like, F you. That's also a possibility. This is why people say you don't divorce the same person you marry. And she says, listen, we need to change these laws so that people who are out here just filing motion after motion just to extend the time and hurt that other person's pockets can't do that anymore. Men would love that. Men would love that. That's why we need more women to be in this situation, because things tend to happen when a woman sheds tears. That's just the
we just need a lot more women crying about this. That's all.
Reality. And of course, next here we have the question that a lot of you probably want to know. This gentleman asked, did you file for divorce or did he? And she says, I did. And there we go. That's why he's so angry. That's why he's probably so upset. He thought it was till death do us part. And you may be thinking, well, maybe he was beating her up. He's a violent monster. Should have probably said that. Chicks who go online and are trying to like earn money through content, they're willing to use any measure. Next comment here says, dragging it out is the worst. This next female commenter says, divorce is crazy. It will nearly destroy you during the process, but I promise it's worth it. Hang tight. Better things are coming. So better things may be coming for you, but for your children, they are now at a statistical disadvantage. This commenter here says, should have gotten a prenup. I would never marry, no benefit to it. She responded and says, OMG, prenup is a must for the next. So she's looking for the next.
She already might have the next in mind.
Are you guys ready to be the next? That is the question. So in this particular video that I can't play because I think there's like copyrighted music, she goes in to talk about how she wasn't loved the right way. And it sounds like that's the reason why she decided to file. And she was asking to be loved the right way. And she was never loved the right way. And she believes that there's a man out there who will love her the way that she expects a man to love her. In her words in this video, she says, though I've never experienced this in my life, I believe it exists. She says, why? Because I'm that person. Right. So here you have somebody who divorced her husband because she wasn't loved the right way.
Like they're trying, like again, they want such specific things and they want to force it so badly. Yeah, that thing never existed for any woman. No woman has ever received the things that you're even asking for,
regardless of her vows. Which leads me to this final video that's sort of on the same lines. A lot of chicks share this mindset.
how it feels being in love with someone where they don't do anything wrong, but they also don't love the way that you want to be loved. Someone was asking me about that. It's confusing because there's no big problem to point to, right? They're kind. They show up. They don't hurt you on purpose. So you keep asking yourself, why do I still feel lonely? You start shrinking your needs. You tell yourself you're asking for too much. You explain away the ache because technically they're a good person, but love isn't just about intentions. Love is about impact. And when you keep leaving conversations feeling unseen, unchosen, or emotionally hungry, that matters. You're not ungrateful for wanting more. You're not dramatic for needing affection.
Everything you're feeling, it matters a lot.
Consistency or reassurance in the way your heart understands it. Sometimes the truth is this: they love you the best way they know how.
True.
And you need to be loved the way you actually feel it. At least some people do. That doesn't make either of you bad. It just makes you honest. And honesty is where clarity begins.
I think there are a lot of people who, because this doesn't sound like somebody who is like saying you should leave somebody who's in this situation. But I think a lot of people do leave somebody in a situation when they feel like, oh, I'm not being loved the way I believe I should be loved. And instead of having a conversation, trying to work things out, figuring out how they can improve that closeness. And if it's realistic, because sometimes it's just highly unrealistic. But I think a lot of people just give up. And that's terrible, right? To be a man who's not doing anything wrong per se and have to lose your whole family and everything you've built after a woman has vowed to stick through the tough times.
Damn, though. $35 billion. That's crazy. But the $2.5 billion that went bankrupt, what freak, guys. If you were just to put $2.5 billion in a bank account and just live off the interest, I don't think you can spend all the money. I don't think you can. Obviously, I'm wrong. Women. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.